Doesn't matter what I think. Like, let's suppose you buy a property for 10 million. You want to sell it for 15 million, an example. It matters what that client who has a budget of 15 million, what he thinks of the property. So the objective of today's video is I have a client, very good friend of mine. I love this guy from the UK. So he has a budget of anywhere between 35 and 50 million dirhams, right? So his ideal budget is somewhere around $10 million. He's of course invested in property before, but this is a property for himself, right? So we are liquidating some assets down in the UK and we're going to buy a home in Dubai. This is another video I'd like to take. It's like a macroeconomic indicators where, okay, first it was the Russians, then it's the Levanto region, and now the most important sort of macroeconomic effect that people are looking out for are the Chinese. So we're going to get into that subject, okay? But this video is purely my experience I'm sharing so that you know what does a client with a budget of $10 million expect, okay? Currently, he's staying at the address. So he first was living in the Royal Atlantis on the Palm. He didn't like the crowd there. He was like, because he's with his wife and 2 girls, right? So he didn't like the crowd in Royal Atlantis. So he was like, Zohaib, I need someplace private. Now this is the word private. So there are few key words that is common amongst all, let's say, ultra HNIs. You can call them, because these are not millionaires, they're about that. I don't know if they're billionaires, but you know, we're looking at ultra HNIs, okay? So these are few common terms. He's like, Zohaib, it's too public and I don't like the crowd. It's a very party crowd. I need someplace more private. So from Royal Atlantis, we moved to Address Dubai Creek Harbour. Now he loves Address Dubai Creek Harbour. So I think we've been living there. I mean, he's been living there for almost like 6 to 7 months now. And he loves the area. His gym is in Nad Al Sheba. He goes to his tennis classes. The kids love it. It's perfect. But now he's missing that. He's like, hey, you know what, Zohaib? I've been to some of my friends' houses. They live in these beautiful places. I want a house, you know, like a nice community. Where do I go? Okay. So this is my tour with him. So first place that we went was Nad Al Sheba Gardens. Why? Because he wanted to be near, he loves this area, right? Downtown Dubai Creek Harbour, Nad Al Sheba. He loves that sort of area. We'll be able to see that area from this spot as well. So Nad Al Sheba Gardens is by Miraz. He likes the finish is by Miraz. It's approved, okay. He saw some properties in La Mer. Now La Mer, he was like, I love the interiors, the quality was good, but the exterior with all the yellow and the orange, you know, he didn't like the exterior, pink. He was like, I didn't like the exterior, it was a bit too loud for me. So I like them as a developer. Can we see Nad Al Sheba Gardens? So now you might have been familiar of even the recent launch by Miraz Nad Al Sheba Phase 5. But what you don't know is that next to Nad Al Sheba Phase 1, there are some people who bought plots and are selling customized villas. Now, these villas are selling for around 10 to 15 million dirhams. I mean, of course, who doesn't want a good deal, right? So he's like, let's check out, it's customized, it's nice. So when we visited these houses in Nad Al Sheba, I think I saw a brilliant property, beautiful, nice layout. Now, another very common feature that all of these ultra HNIs, let's just call them ultra HNIs, are that they love that floor to ceiling, that open layout, floor to ceiling windows. It's open. They love marble. They love the travertine marble finish. They like the kitchen island, you know, that finish that I'm talking. They love that open layout. So this was a beautiful open, let's call it a great room, all right, because it has the living, the dining, and it's sort of connected with the pool area. Okay, let's call it the great room. And it was an infinity pool. It was facing the infinity pool. But the only problem was there wasn't enough garden space. Now he has really, his daughters are around, let's say, 3 years old and just on his newborn. So it was, he wanted a bigger garden space. Okay. So we moved to the next spot. We went to District 1. Now this is funny. So District 1 has, let's say, 3 types of designs. you have the Mediterranean, you have the Arabic, and you have the contemporary. Now, I would have thought that I like the contemporary villas, right? I mean, we were quite clear, okay, the Arabic is not, that's not the one that we're looking for. The ideal look for contemporary. Now, the contemporary one that we wanted to see got sold out. It was sold somewhere around 30 million dirhams. So this property that we're looking for in District 1 is between 25 and 30 million dirhams. We first saw a Mediterranean style, 18 million dirhams. We actually really liked that house. It was a proper English home. A proper, I mean, someone from London would actually say this is a home. It was beautiful, the energy was beautiful. So this is another thing. So one term was privacy, another term is energy. So these clients, they feel the energy of a house. It could be the light direction, but sometimes we enter a house, it's just nice energy. So we really enjoy the energy of the house. It's facing downtown, so we actually had a nice Burj Khalifa view as well. And that's one thing about District 1, it's probably one of the closest communities to downtown. So brilliant, it was the location, the community. We felt the roads were a little small. This particular client of mine was a bit claustrophobic. He likes big roads, okay? He doesn't like small roads. He doesn't like houses close by to each other. I think that was the only negative. He thought my wife would love this property. But for me, it's good, but it's not the house. Then we went to a contemporary house. Now, the person who finished that contemporary house, now this is the problem in Dubai. Every time there's an interesting market, okay? So for example, right now, refurbishment is an interesting market. Every time there's an interesting market, there are good people and there are bad people. That's the same thing with developers, right? So there are some people who refurbish a property, they put their heart and soul to it. And you feel it, you see it, right? And they've done a phenomenal job. And hence, a person is willing to pay that sort of peak price. Then you have some of these owners who, I mean, literally, I entered that house and I said, I feel like he bought everything from Dragon Mart. You know, it was like, why would he do that? I mean, it is so, like, now at this stage, my client knows that I know what he needs, right? So he's just left it to me. He's like, Zohaib, you know what I need. I'm like, I know what you need, right? But it's not easy to get that because it's complicated to find that perfect house, okay? So we saw this house, and so in District 1, we actually prefer the Mediterranean to the contemporary. It just felt nicer. So we moved towards, I told him, see, I know what you like. I'll show you what you like. We headed towards Keturah Reserve by MAG. Now, MAG is not exactly known for ultra luxury, but recently they came up with these phenomenal projects. One was called Keturah Reserve, and they were selling the Ritz-Carlton residences as well. The Ritz-Carlton residences are 75 million plus. In Keturah Reserve, we could get a house around 75 million. Okay. There were townhouses selling at around 25 million. There were plots selling at around 10 million dirhams. There were two types of plots. One was around 5,000 square foot, around 8,000 square foot. But when we saw the Keturah Reserve show home, so he loves the location of Keturah Reserve. He likes that area, right? Because it's right next to District 1, MBR City. He likes that location. So we saw Keturah Reserve. He's like, this is it. So I love this finish. Max is claustrophobic, right? So Max does not like house, right? So behind MBR City, there are almost 17 communities. Now you're going to find Bentley, Lamborghini, you'll find Hamptons, Knightsbridge. I mean, all the fancy names you're going to find there. But these are like small clusters of houses, okay? So you'll find a small pool area. And probably there's an apartment building facing that community. And now that's the biggest turnoff for most of the alternatives. They're like, why would I have an apartment building facing my house? Okay. So I told him, I think this is going to be a concern for you. That, okay, yes, the house is fantastic, no doubt. But I don't think A, you're going to like house. And B, right back to back, right next to each other. B, you need space. I mean, this is not your... if you just want a nice ultra luxury finished house, yes. But then the whole reason why you're moving from the address is that you want to live in a community. And I told him, listen, Max, let me take you to a place. Now, before this, the previous day, we had been to Sheba Heartland. Now, he really loved the forest villas in Sheba Heartland. He's like, this is the perfect layout. Now, only problem was the house that we saw, it was again facing, so in Sheba Heartland, the community, there's a section which is away from the buildings, and there's a section that's facing sort of the apartment buildings. So he was like, that was probably a bit of an uncomfortable feature. Apart from that, I loved the floor plan. It was a bit back to back, but I think it was, I'm very satisfied with the quality of the house. And I like the floor plan, and so that was his feedback on Sheba Heartland. But I have a very funny feature to talk about this house and our last house, which is in Dubai Hills. So I told him, Max, I'm going to show you your favorite house. Now, we went to Jumeirah Islands, and he fell in love because he's like, this satisfies all my OCDs, right? Because in Jumeirah Islands, they're like these small clusters of villas. So nice, massive roads, it's empty. And each cluster, there are only, let's say, 5 to 10 mansions or villas. So we saw this refurbished house. It was selling for around 26 million, between 22 and 26 million. He absolutely loved it. And it came fully fitted, fully furnished on the lake. He was like, that's it, Zohaib, I love this, okay? This is amazing. And our last trip was to Dubai Hills, so the boys couldn't follow me towards Dubai Hills because it was only me and Max could go to Dubai Hills. Now, so this particular property was in Emerald Hills. Now, Emerald Hills was sold as plots, and people are building customized villas in Emerald Hills. This villa was selling for 50 million dirhams. Now, a very interesting fact. So the Sheba Heartland, there were 2 villas, okay, and the Emerald Hill villas was being sold by a Russian guy whose job is to, what he does is he picks up houses and potentially sells them on a payment plan. He pays it on around 3 years ready houses. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, no, not everyone knows this. It's very under market. But I was like, this is brilliant. This is fantastic. And that sort of corrupted my buyer's head because I felt like the property was a bit overpriced, even though it was 50. Beautiful. Okay, this house was beautiful. Another fun fact. So over there in Dubai Hills, there were 3 houses. I saw 3 houses. Each house is rented at around 2.5 million dirhams. The first house was rented by a Chinese family. This house that we went to was rented by an Australian couple. And the third house, I'm not sure. It was rented, all of them were rented out around 2.5 million. I was not sure of the nationality of the third house. Again, these are important factors for you to understand the market as well. Like there are people who are paying these kind of rents. So we've saw the 50 million house, but he preferred the Jumeirah Islands house because again, in Emerald Hills, the road was quite narrow and it was just houses back to back. And he told me a statement. He said, Zohaib, if I'm standing in my garage and I take a selfie, I don't want my neighbor to be standing along with it in the photograph. What he meant was that he felt like the houses were a bit too close by. So this is where I am till now. So today he has forwarded me 3 videos. The first video was for Jumeirah Islands. It was a house, again, refurbished. I'm going to go through that. I told him, see, I know someone in the Palm and Emirates Hills. He said, Zohaib, this is going to be my permanent house. I don't mind spending up to 50 million. I want a beautiful house. So we're going to check out Emirates Hills and Palm Jumeirah. I'll keep you guys updated. So that's one example of a client, right, from the UK. Now another example is this. Now this is not by me. Okay, again, the whole idea of this video is for you to understand the perspective of these buyers. Who are these people who buy? Now this property where I'm at, it's a 2-bedroom selling for 9 million dirhams. It was bought by a client from China. Now this client, now you can imagine, okay, so this client has brought properties. Okay, I'll give you an example. She bought a Serenity mansion. She's bought mansions with Damac. She's bought in Wanzabil. They've got multiple properties. So we're looking at like billionaire, all right? Now this client who lives in the US is from China, has property in Singapore as well. She's Singaporean Chinese. This client believes that this property is the most beautiful building in the world. So that's a separate video that you'll definitely have to observe to understand, okay, if you're buying a property and you want to sell it to someone like the Chinese, what sort of amenities, what sort of finishes, what are they looking for? Have a look in the next video, and it's going to call Inside the Most Beautiful Building in the World. Additionally to that, so 2 other videos that you'll have to watch out for: macroeconomic indicators. It really helps us to understand what we're looking at in Dubai in the next couple of years. And then the finishing of this client of mine from the UK. We're going to find, of course, for 50 million dirhams, you can expect a really, really beautiful house. I'm going to eventually show you that house as well. This is exciting. I love sharing my journey with you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Let me know where you think I should buy a house. My best bet is Emirates Hills, Palm Jumeirah, Palm Jebel Ali, or Dubai Hills, but these are the houses in my head at this stage. If you have any better suggestions, let me know. And thank you so much. This is Mohammed Zohaib signing off.